So hi, I'm Laura Matger Florence, and I work here with Panorama Consulting. And the question I'm going to talk about is, how long does it take to do a selection project? In terms of the first stage, we're generally looking at 3 to 6 months. And that surprises a lot of folks, but there's a lot of reasons behind that. We're talking about an investment that is 5 to 8% of your annual revenue, and it can take years, and it's supposed to last you for a decade. So if you make a mistake, this is a really expensive mistake that's going to have some really long-term implications. So now we know we need to do a selection in the right way. How do we go about it? How do we make the right decision? Well, you start with the evaluation. And so what we would do is we come in and we take a look at defining what are your requirements. And an example of a requirement might be the ability to handle multi-currencies, or the ability to track work in progress throughout the organization, or the ability to define discounts based on a contract that's assigned by a client. Those would be examples of requirements. But those requirements don't live in a vacuum. They are elements within business processes. So at the same time that we come in and we define your requirements, we're also gathering what those business processes are. The next step is, if all we do is define what you need and define your business processes as they are now and then go buy software, all you're doing is automating what you do today, and there's not a whole lot of benefit to that. So the next interim stage is to say, how do we go from our current state to a future state? And so we're going to come in and we're going to want to improve your processes. And we've got a dedicated team of business process improvement professionals. And we've got a methodology, uses 6 Sigma elements to help us in that process. So when we come in and we take a look at your business processes, there's 3 outcomes that are going to happen. One is, it may be that new software that's come out in the 10, 20 years since your company implemented software is inherently going to have the functionality that you need. So you may currently be doing a particular task and it required customization, or it requires a lot of manual workarounds or a torturous process to do a particular task. That with the latest, greatest ERP system, it's just the click of a button, because that's inherent. Because ERP software, like anything else, is continuously improving. You've got user groups calling up the software companies and saying, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? And over time, as that software is upgraded and developed, that functionality is continuously increasing. So that's option number 1, is that it may be that what you need is going to come straight out of the box. The next option is, when we come in and we take a look at your business processes, it may be that we can improve those processes separate from the technology, which is fantastic. One, you can get an immediate benefit. You can go ahead and start changing the way you do business and to be more efficient and more effective. And again, this is where our consultants bring in their expertise of working within the industries. The second piece that's really nice about that is that if you change your processes before you change the technology, it makes the adoption of that new technology far easier. So in terms of organizational change, you've got a real leg up. The third option that's going to happen when we start looking at business processes is that it may require technology to take you to that next level of efficiency. And in that case, we're going to make sure that we document everything as best we can in terms of the specific business and technical requirements to provide to the vendors as we get into the selection phase. So as you can imagine, if you have a single location and you have a single business function, we're a manufacturer of widgets, that process might only take a couple of weeks. That if you're a company that has multiple business units, let's say you do manufacturing and distribution, or you do engineering services and manufacturing, or maybe you're globally distributed. You have locations here, and you have locations in the UK or in Asia or in South America. All of those different entities we're going to need to touch. We're going to need to gather their requirements. We're going to need to come up with some consistency. We're going to need to identify what requirements and business processes can be consistent across the operations and which are going to have to be unique. So that can take time. And this is the largest variable. If you want to know how long it takes to do a selection, it can be a matter of a difference of a couple of weeks to several months. So that's number 1.